What's good, people? It's about that time to randomly relate reverse rants, no hate. So, Luis Ortiz versus Andy Ruiz. People, this was a fight where boxing is can be funny sometimes, man. Boxing can make you see things a certain way, and then you go, hold on, wait a minute, right? Now, what I mean by that is how good a person is versus how good people think they are, and then you see certain styles clash and you like, wait, okay, wait, but you just look at, well, last fight example, right? Luis Ortiz in this fight, compare his performance versus when he fought Charles Martin. So stylistically, it's how you adapt to different fighters, right? He was losing every round against Charles Martin. If you ask anybody, pretty most people, who you think will win, Charles Martin or Andy Ruiz, I'm pretty sure they'll say Andy Ruiz, and maybe he does win that fight, right? I think he wins that fight, but it's what I'm saying stylistically. This is what I mean. Boxing is just funny, and then now because of how good Ortiz did, people, yeah, he still got it. He still is Luis Ortiz. I'm good enough to go in there and fight with these guys, but I just can't get the win. But this is an interesting thing in this fight. Andy Ruiz, I'm watching him. I said if Andy Ruiz is busy, he gonna give Luis Ortiz problems because he's too fast for Ortiz, and Ortiz ain't gonna be able to see all them shots coming. Whenever Andy was busy and let his hands go, Ortiz backs up. He doesn't have anything to fire back with when he throws combinations. When he throws one shot, yeah. Luis Ortiz, if he stays behind that jab and fight to win and not try to fight for those fans, not trying to make people not boo or trying to, Cuba versus Mexico bullshit where you're going to go in there now and just fight like people for some reason when it comes to Mexicans, when it comes to Latino fighters, there's always this mentality that the fans have and the comment, like they're supposed to stand there toe to toe, tuck their chins and just swing for the fences. No real skill, no, 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 no. Because Mexican fighters, Puerto Rican fighters, whatever, Latino fighters in general, boxers are boxers, brawlers are brawlers. You understand? It doesn't work out in Luis Ortiz's best interest to stand there and just trade with Andy Ruiz because he's not fast enough to beat him to the punch when you talk about throwing combinations. You time people, you cut speed with timing. And if you notice, whenever Luis Ortiz was on his toes and he was throwing that jab, he realized it. See, the thing is this, Andy Ruiz is not good at cutting off the ring. He's not good at closing distance. Andy Ruiz depends on you to just be stationary. Then he can let his hands go. But he's not good at moving in and cutting, closing the distance and getting on you. And he doesn't have footwork at all. He's just, he's flat footed and he depends on you to make it easier by doing that. And as soon as Ortiz starts jabbing and stand behind his jab, Andy couldn't do nothing. But when he starts getting stationary, and once Andy gets in, Andy was able to outland him. Knocked him down 3 times, right? Y'all saw the scores. 114, 111, 113, 114. Y'all know what that means? Those same punches that landed, that dropped Ortiz, if he doesn't go down, he wins that fight against Andy Ruiz. And this is a 43-year-old against a 32-year-old, right? Here's the thing about it. When he landed those punches, because he hurt him, he dropped him, then he's able to land more shots and, so he's piling up points that in that way. But if he just caught him and he doesn't go down, Luis Ortiz wins. And the worse, the lesser of the two robberies would have been if they would have gave him the fight anyway, or if they'd have called it a draw. Would have been the lesser. That would have been the lesser of it if they'd have called it a draw. But I mean, I'm not going to say take the knockdowns away because they happen. What I'm saying is, if he didn't go down, the same punches landed, but he didn't go down, then he wins that fight. So I'm sitting there watching, and I'm like, okay. It just goes to show you what I'm saying, though. Look, Adam Kalnowski, right? He got destroyed by Robert Helenius. What's the dude name? Bald-headed guy that fought Deontay Wilder. Gerald Washington. He knocked Robert Helenius out in 8 rounds. Wilder knocked out Gerald Washington in 5. And he was losing all the rounds. You understand? That's what I mean, how boxing is just funny like that. That's why you can't say, because he beat him, he'll beat him. That's bullshit. You can't bet on that. There's no, just because this guy beat him, he's automatically going to beat him. No, it's not so, man. You think it's like that because when it happens, you think that's why it happened. Oh, because he beat him, he's better. No, man. How you are able to adjust to different styles is what it comes down to. And that's why when one guy wins and you think, oh, I want to see him versus him, then he goes near that other guy and gets destroyed. You like, what happened? No, what happened was he had a style that bothered him. But when it came to that guy, that guy could handle his style. So it's one of those things. And that's what Luis Ortiz is, man. People make it sound like Luis Ortiz is like a special fighter and nobody wanted to fight him and he this and he... No. If he was a special fighter, then people should have had eyes on him. His team obviously does a horrible job of managing him if that's the case. And he allows it because the man is 43 now. He only lost to Wilder and to Andy Ruiz. Okay? But bottom line is, he struggled to beat Charles Martin, but he beat him. But the bottom line is what I'm saying. He's a guy, like I said, that he hasn't beaten anybody significant. So when you look at Luis Ortiz, the best fighters on his resume is going to be Wilder, Andy Ruiz. Because Charles Martin held a belt, I mean, just to put him on there, and then I don't rate Malik Scott at all. I don't even know why people. I remember Max Kellerman. Malik Scott is a very good boxer. He's very sharp, high boxing IQ. Against who? If you can't do it against the elite, then no, because that means if you got skills, but you can't, your heart won't let you. So no, you're not elite. Because heart, determination, hunger, all that. That's that's part of your makeup to make an elite fighter. Simple. That's what that is. That's like dunking the basketball on nobody. Then all of a sudden you're trying to dunk on the Dikembe Mutombo, and then damn, it's different when you're trying to dunk on somebody versus just run up dunking, against the air, right? I'm watching the fight and I'm just like, okay, I see what both guys are doing to have success. And when Andy Ruiz would back off, I'm thinking Andy Ruiz is probably trying to reserve his gas tank and be careful at the same time because he was getting caught at times with shots, but whenever he would get in close and start letting his hands go, that's where he was having success. And what's funny is I started laughing because I started thinking about Anthony Joshua. Like, this dude was 6'6", right? 245, 250, whatever. And people talking about he should fight like Mike, the way Mike come in. Andy Ruiz is more Mike Tyson's height. He doesn't fight like Mike Tyson. And he has fast hands like Mike Tyson. Anthony Joshua don't have fast hands like that. He got some speed, but not enough to at least, he can't match speed with Andy Ruiz. You understand what I'm saying? But the guy that's Mike Tyson's height and got he should be fighting more like that. But again, I think it's two different mentalities. And I feel like I felt like he was trying to reserve his gas tank and also be cautious. But you have to know that being in close, he was giving them different looks too. And you had to know being in close was his best chance. Because every time Ortiz started working behind that jab, Andy Ruiz couldn't do nothing. And when he'd come in, he'd lunge with the right hand, the overhand. And it's like he's there to be countered. And then he was being extra cautious because of that. Because he has no footwork, no head movement to get inside. He doesn't know how to do that. So just watching that fight, I'm sitting here saying to myself, man, Ruiz is outboxing him, outlanding him. But the knockdowns, then the second knockdown comes like, okay, well, then, and the third knockdown. So I'm like, and you never know, like when they're judging these fights, you can knock a guy down multiple times, but if he's like really beating you, Like straight up out. Like if a guy, I don't, you know what? I'm gonna see if I can find the punch stats on that. I probably won't even do a video about it, nothing like that. Just for just to see what the punch stats was. I don't remember. Like people talking and going crazy and whatever, but it's like because he was outboxing him, man. But with the knockdowns, and then too, if you start doing good later in the fight, then it kind of starts swinging your way with the judges a lot of times because they're looking at it like, okay, he's finishing strong, and But yeah, I mean, just watching that fight, it was like I said before they gave the decision. I said, man, because of the three knockdowns, they might they might give it to Andy. I'm like, but honestly, if Ruiz ain't go down, man, if Ortiz ain't go down, he might have won. Because in my opinion, he was outboxing him. He was landing more. And then what did the score show you? 113, 114. 114, 111 by two judges. And I'm like, yep, them 3 points, them knockdowns is what did it. But what's important is he got the knockdowns. But yeah, I mean, that's what I'm saying, man. Now, what I was going to say in the previous video was what I was saying. I wanted to see that the winner of Parker versus Joyce against Wilder. That's what I would like to see. Now, Andy Ruiz calls Wilder out. Wilder comes into the ring and he says that, after I fight Lanius, I get past Lanius. If that's where it leads to, then because they ask him about the fight. And I'm like, see, this is what I don't like about fighters, man. Like, just look, this is a complete difference. If I get past Lanius, then, if that's where it leads to, that's how we line up, then we can get it on. Okay. And if you answered it honestly, okay. But doesn't it just sound more intriguing if you honestly answer it by saying, listen, I got Hellenius in front of me right now, and basically, I'm going there to win. Should I get that victory? Definitely, I want Andy Ruiz next. That's the fight I want. Don't that sound more intriguing than if that's how it lines up? Like, because when they say, do you want to fight him? You don't say yes. You say, if that's what happens. It's not about, we're not asking you if. We're saying, is that what you want? Okay, example, did you want to fight Robert Helenius? Is that the fight you wanted? Because I'm sure the fans didn't want that shit. So do you want to fight Andy Ruiz is the question. And I don't think that he really wanted to fight Andy Ruiz. I'm going to tell you why. When he came in the ring, he basically he said, that's the fans want to see. He started monologuing. Wilder just starts talking. And basically it's a simple yes or no answer, but he starts talking and he says, he managed to say that, yeah, they fans want to see, great warriors, and that's what they gave you tonight, but when he starts praising Luis Ortiz because they shared the ring, this, that, okay, cool. Part of me feels like I think he wanted Ortiz to win, and I'm pretty sure. We'll never know, but let me put it, I strongly feel he wanted Ortiz to win. And if Ortiz would have got that victory, we would have seen Wilder versus Ortiz 3. I strongly feel that. And notice, he did say, okay, that, that's what these two were. They gave you a great fight tonight. He did say that. But notice how he didn't really compliment, Andy Ruiz. He didn't really, congratulate him and say, that really, he's a great fighter, man. He beat a guy that I fought and we had, good fights and stuff. And I respect Andy for that, man. And, yeah, I mean, he won. It's only right that we, he didn't say that. He didn't say nothing. He just basically praised Ortiz the entire time. So basically, at the end of the day, either he fights Andy Ruiz or he fights the winner of Joyce and Parker. I'm pretty sure either way. Now, Parker beat Ruiz and they fought. A lot of people thought it could have went either way. Now, most people are anticipating that Parker will outbox Joyce, so we'll see. Either way, whether it's Ruiz or whether it's Parker or Joyce versus Wilder, those are fights I definitely, wouldn't mind seeing. But yeah, I mean, I'm gonna say this. Like I said, I don't change the way I feel about Ortiz. I feel like he's decent. He was, he's not what people try to make him to be. Okay, and if he was, then he should have been world champion at some point. There's no, and he had the opportunity because he fought for the title and he got knocked out by a guy that's a one trick pony. So if he was the boxer that they saying, then he would have beat Wilder. He wouldn't have got caught that shit that he got caught with. It's just as simple as that. And he got caught the same way both times with the same fucking punch. So it's like, really? Okay. I give him credit for what, for, like I said, he's a decent fighter. He has heart, you know, overall, like I said, all that boogeyman stuff and talking about how like pound for pound, all the, he's more skilled than everybody. No, he's not. Because if he was, like I said, then he should have beat Wilder. Plain and simple. And in fairness, he did have Wilder wobble and was jumping on him and threw like 20, 30 punches and Wilder wasn't throwing nothing. The ref could have stopped that shit and then he would have been world champ. But at the same time, it's not how the ball bounced. And again, Wilder is limited. You understand what I mean? But at the end of the day, I salute Luis Ortiz and Andy Ruiz for going in there and putting on the best fights that they could at the time. It is what it is. The fighters themselves can look and say, I should have been doing this and that, but, well, you should have, but you wasn't. So what you were able to do at the time is what you did. So salute both of them. Ortiz wants to continue to fight. Maybe he should fight Derek Chisora, man. Maybe they should fight. You know what I mean? Maybe they should fight. Because I don't see, even when you lose, but you did good, that doesn't warrant you to fight for a championship, man. That doesn't put you in a spot to fight, a top 1 to 2 just because. And if it does, it's because you're cherry picked by that person. Like, yeah, he puts up a good fight. He has a reputation. But yeah, we could beat this guy. That's what that goes. Now, the cherry picks can go wrong, of course. But either way, I'm glad Andy won. I mean, I feel like maybe the best man won, but the reason why I'm really glad Andy won is because, truthfully, I know in my heart, I feel strongly if Ortiz won that fight, Wilder and him would have been the next fight, and that's why Wilder was at that damn fight. Plain and simple. And I think deep down inside, they probably thought Ortiz was going to win. So, yeah, I mean, yeah, he clearly never said he wants to fight Andy. If that's the way it lines up, like no, stop that, man. Especially when y'all all PBC, man, stop. Y'all all Al Heyman, stop. Don't say if that's the no. That's not what you was asked. You were asked, do you want to fight him? Simple, man. So, anyway, question is, who would y'all rather see Wilder fight? Should he be Helenius? Who would y'all rather see Wilder fight? Andy Ruiz or the winner of Joseph Parker and Joe Joyce? Let me know in the comment section how y'all think they match up with Wilder. And basically, again, yeah, like with the fact that Parker already fought Ruiz, we got that fight already. But we never had Joe Joyce, Parker, or Ruiz against Wilder. So let me know who y'all rather see. Who would y'all rather see him fight? Between Andy Ruiz, Parker, and Joyce. Never fall in love with lies. Remember, the truth brings hate out of people, and I will catch y'all on the next video.